Welcome back. Um, Today was a good day. It was very sunny and warm outside. It was beautiful. And my sisters, my mom, and I got together. There weren't more than 10 of us, but we got together in a parking lot and stayed, you know, 10, 12 feet away from each other while we just sat in lawn chairs in the back of our cars and talked and stuff. And that was fun. A good opportunity to connect, even though we weren't able to, you know, go to each other's houses and visit as we normally would. Um, so yeah, we had a tailgate party and that was fun. Um, for the plant of the day, I've got a few here in this pot. Um, got some more. My mind just forgot that they're called. Got some more succulents, and I started this. I had a beautiful. These are dusty desert, either dusty or desert roses. I don't remember. I think it's dusty rose. Um. Anyway, um, but I had a beautiful one that was like big and great, and I was admiring how beautiful it was, and it wasn't 2 days later that it got knocked off of the windowsill and it broke, and it was tragic. But I was able to use the top part um, to start another one, and then I was able to break down all the leaves and get quite a few clones from it, I guess. I mean, they're not clones, but it's really cool how succulents can just, you have a leaf and they start to sprout their own little roots and leaves, and it's really cool. So that's what I did with these. So yeah, more of the family of succulents. You're gonna see a lot of those because we have a lot of those. Just can't get enough. Also, they multiply by having one leaf, so we have a lot of those. Plus, it's a very good plant for a drier climate. Alex is upstairs and he probably still groaned audibly. He was in pain. He probably didn't even hear the joke. He probably just sensed the horrible pun and he was like, ugh. So anyway, that's more succulents. This is Dolly, Polly, Lolly, Golly, and Folly. Where should I? I'll set that there. The book for the day. I'm running out of books that I have that I want, that I really love, to recommend. And I mean, I have others, and I may work them in, but they don't quite come up to the top of the list. Like, anyway. So I'm cheating, and I'm just gonna show you the cover, a picture of the cover on my my laptop, which actually this one is public domain, so you can look it up online and read it online for free on Google Books and various other places. So this is the Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne, and it was written in, well, published in 1850, so it's kind of that time. I think it takes place a little bit before that, though. There are very Puritan elements, and so a lot of people are familiar with the symbol of the Scarlet Letter and about the stigma surrounding it. But I don't know that very many people have actually, I don't know how many people have actually read the book. I read it while I was in high school, around the same time that I read Frankenstein. I think it might have been the same year. And so, kind of like with Frankenstein, I was just acutely aware of how we have a tendency to judge one another as human beings. And so, when I read The Scarlet Letter, I was a little nervous at first, because people want to like sexualize the Scarlet Letter, and I mean, that's originally why she received the Scarlet Letter, but it's not any graphic details or anything. It was, after all, the 1850s. Anyway, so it's more, it's less about that and more about what happens in societies, and when we're able to judge people, and kind of how we're hypocrites in a lot of ways, and how we are slow to forgive, regardless of other actions that individuals may take. We may continue to hold those grudges, and ultimately the shame and the judgment that we pass on others, it takes its toll. And so the Scarlet Letter, while it may seem like a weird one to have an affinity for and an attachment to, it really struck me as I read it, and it really resonated with me as one of those moments in my life where I decided that I wanted to be a better person, a kinder person, and a more forgiving person. And, you know, we can only control ourselves. And I think that Hester Prynne, the main girl that wears the Scarlet Letter, I think that she recognizes that pretty well, and she doesn't seem to get upset when other people treat her poorly. She recognizes that what's important is that she does what she can to be a good person and to try and work out her salvation with God herself, and just kind of toss the judgmental people out the window. And I mean, not literally, but anyway, so the Scarlet Letter, it may seem intimidating at first. You may be a little scared of it because of its content, but I don't think you need to be. And I recommend it. So for today, I'm going to play a Chopin Prelude in E minor, and I'm not going to put you over to the side like I normally do, and I'll tell you why after. I don't want it to taint the experience. I don't want you to be watching for why, for the reason. So I'll tell you later. But this is Chopin Prelude in E minor, and this isn't as good a position. I feel weird about this position because you don't get to see the keys. You just get to see my face while I play. I don't really love that, but at least for today, we're going to do it this way. So, Prelude in E minor. Alright, so hopefully you didn't hear this, but I recorded earlier on the side to see how I was feeling it and how it sounded and such. And I realized that for some reason in that position, you could really hear the squeaking of the pedal. And it's not the pedal itself, it's the felt. So the way the piano works is the hammers hit strings, right? And you can push the pedal and it raises these felt stopper things that are normally against the strings. It pulls them back so the strings are able to vibrate more freely. So for some reason, when I push my pedal, then when those pieces move back, then there's this squeaking inside my piano. And I could really hear it over there. I tried it here, it was a little bit better, but I'm hoping it wasn't distracting. Also, I tend to, especially on songs like that, I tend to get really deep into the piano, into the pedal, just because I have a tendency to overpedal and want it to be really smooth. And anyway, so that's why we tried it that way today. We'll see how my pedal behaves on other days, but yeah, so that's, oh, I mean, I'm going a little long, I ramble anyway, normally, but so the prelude that I just played, the Chopin, is one that when I was in middle school or high school learning it, junior high probably, I don't know, then I was having a hard time playing musically, and so I was kind of robotic, and I wasn't doing a lot with dynamics or rubato, or, you know, it was just really, really strict time. Anyway, so my dad would come in while I was practicing, and he would say, "You need to feel it!" And I would say, "Dad, you're so annoying." And then he would sit next to the piano and sing it dramatically in operatic voices and things. Anyway, so on this one, he said, "You have to think of the story." And I said, "There's not a story." And he said, "There is." So he created this dramatic story about a woman whose husband was out at sea, and then she noticed that there was a big storm and she was concerned for her husband, and then at the end then she saw a piece of his ship come in on the beach or something, and it was very tragic and not unlike the tale of Hester Prynne, actually. But anyway, some similarities there if you read the book. So little Easter egg, extra tidbit from my life, because, you know, that's what people want to hear, right? Just kidding. Anyway, so I will see you tomorrow.